About to see some crazy
A tattoo wedding band on my left hand, okay? It's my wedding band, okay?
Yeah.
Alright, you ready? Alright, here we go, here we go. So I'm gonna take my wedding band, and I'm just gonna spin it. Alright, you ready? Here goes. Alright. No strings. Alright, watch. And then...
Hello the world, Squirrels here with my second Magic Monday upload. So hopefully you guys just saw right before the intro clip there was a little bit of a performance of me using the Tarantula II to do the hover ring effect. It was a pretty cool effect that happened at a restaurant bar right across from where I saw Thor Ragnarok last week. So that was pretty cool. Everybody seemed to have really cool reactions. That was actually a Snapchat video that someone took, and it was like this 30-second clip, and I asked him if he could send it my way, so he did. So props to that guy. Thank you, Andrew, the face that you saw at the beginning of the clip, for sending that over my way. So anyway, I know that you clicked on the video because of the title, and the title basically suggested that this is a way that you can get free drinks at a bar or free desserts at a restaurant. I have personally done this multiple times to get free desserts. In fact, some of my coworkers have asked me numerous times now at dinners if I brought a deck of cards so that we can try to get a free plate of some kind. So it definitely works. It definitely isn't guaranteed to get you that free dessert. Obviously, it always is going to depend on the spectator that you're performing in front of. But nonetheless, this is a really, really easy trick to do. Really, really easy effect. The method is very, very simple and straightforward. Anyone that's never done card magic can absolutely perform this trick. So I have full confidence that if you're watching this video right now and you're not sure of your capabilities and your handling of cards, I'm fully confident that you're capable of performing this. And after that, it's all about your own confidence. So worst case scenario, fake it till you make it, and sooner or later, you'll see this trick pay out in dividends. So let's get to it. Let me just change cameras here real quick. All right. So also something that's kind of fun to note is I've got this this stainless steel card clip that I got from Illusionist a while back. It looks pretty cool. If you're familiar with the arcane decks from Illusionist, that is what it represents here, or that is what it's modeled after, rather. I strongly do recommend getting a card clip for your cards, preferably a stainless steel one or better, just because, well, let's face it, how often do you seriously carry cards in a bag when you're just out on the streets? If you have a deck of cards on you, they're probably going to be in your pocket of some sort, right? So when you have cards in your pocket, I'm sure if you've ever handled cards for an extended period of time and you've carried them in your pocket, you're more than familiar with how they can bow and bend, which is horrible for handling, right? When you take those cards out, which in this case it's a brand new deck of cards, so this is probably a bad example, but when you take out those decks after they've been sitting in a warm area for a long time, then they can tend to bow, and then it becomes incredibly difficult to do any kind of card springing or any kind of shuffling or bridge shuffling of sorts. So anyway, that was my little advertisement for getting a stainless steel card clip or better, especially if you carry cards in your pocket on a regular basis like I do. So that said, let's get into this card trick. This is a key card trick. So if you're familiar with any kind of key card methods or methodology in card magic, then you're probably already going to be more than familiar with this card trick. So I'm going to apologize to those of you that are not laymen ahead of time, but this card trick is designed for those of you that are not familiar with doing card tricks. This is a great entry point into the card magic community or card magic effects, and again, great way to get free stuff at a restaurant, hopefully at some point in the future for you. So you need to spread the cards. Now, however you decide to spread the cards is entirely up to you. I typically fan it just because it looks pretty, and then I hold them very, very lightly so that they can grab a card relatively easily without much effort. All right. In your case, you might want to just spread out the cards all over a table, or I mean, if you are really good at spreading the cards, then I mean, by all means, you can spread the cards. Whatever floats your boat for how you want to spread the cards. This is a pick a card trick, so you need them to pick a card, right? So you have them pick a card. Obviously, I don't have an actual spectator here, so I know what the card is. But I'm going to show you how you find out what their card is throughout the course of this tutorial. So in this case, they pick a 6 of hearts. Okay. Now, keeping in mind, this trick is designed for noobs to Magic, right? The worse you look at handling cards, really, the better this effect is going to play off later on. So if you were one of those that spread the cards out all over the table and made a mess of things, great. That's awesome. But the point is that you want to get through the spectator's head that you might mess this card trick up, in fact. Because the less confidence they have in your capabilities, the better. And that's just how this card trick effect really pays off in dividends. So before I tell you exactly how the card trick is done, I'm going to go ahead and continue performing it for the camera here, and you'll see the effect as if you were a spectator, okay? Keeping in mind that obviously I do already know what the card is because I can see the camera. All right, so they've picked this card right here. All you're going to do is say, hey, spectator, I'm really, really bad at Magic, so we're going to try to keep this as really simple as possible just so that I try not to screw it up royally. All right, so just for the sake of keeping things simple, you want to just stick the card on top. So they stick the card on the top of the deck. Okay, and you say, okay, I'm gonna take half the cards and I'm gonna put them over here. Do you want to complete the cut for me? Okay, so they complete the cut for you. You can square them up, or they can square them up. It doesn't matter. Now you can say, okay, do you want to cut the cards again? And you know, the more you stutter in your language and your vernacular and your sentences, the better it's gonna, or the more it's gonna look like you don't know what you're doing, right? So would you like to cut the cards? Yeah, sure. Okay. So they cut the cards again. Would you like to cut them again? Would you like me to cut the cards? Okay. So you cut the cards a few more times, we'll say. Okay. Now what you do is you say, okay, that one card that you selected. That's the one card out of all 52 cards in this entire deck that you held on to longer than every single other card. So it actually left, and this is where you start to BS them. Caveat. Because you touched that card longer than all of the other cards in the entire deck, it actually left a little bit of the oils on our fingers. It left a little bit of a residue on that card. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to start flipping through the cards of this deck. All right, and I'm going to attempt to find your card, well, because it should be nastier than the other cards, right? Because you have oils on that card. So you just keep flipping, and you continue to flip, and you continue to flip. And you tell them, hey, if I'm really going to legitimately try to find your card. So if you happen to see it or anything, just give me your best poker face because I really want to try. I really want to try to do this. Okay. I really want to see if I can figure out which card is yours as I'm going through this deck and flipping over each card. Okay. And so you continue to flip. And you continue to flip. And now, obviously, you know, the viewers watching this video, you know that I already know what the card the spectator selected is. You already know that I know it's the 6 of hearts. You pass it on purpose. You pass the card on purpose. And you keep flipping. And you keep flipping. Until eventually you get to a spot where it feels like you've passed maybe 10 cards, maybe 15 cards, maybe less, whatever. You know, gauge the situation. And then you say, okay, and you have another card ready to flip out of the deck. Okay, and you look like you're about to flip it, and then you feel it a little bit, and then you say, you know what, I think the next card I flip over is going to be your card. You don't say, the card I'm about to flip in this deck is going to be your card. You never point to it or anything. You might gesture that you have a card you're about to flip over in your hand, but do not directly indicate that this is the card you're going to flip over. All right? The idea here is that they think you're referring to this card, but you in fact are actually referring to the card on the table that you're about to flip over. So what you do is you say, at this point, you say, you know what? I'm so confident that the next card I flip over is going to be yours. Would you, friendly wager, would you be willing to bet $1? Or maybe you'd be willing to bet a round of drinks. Or would you be willing, dessert? How about the cheesecake, the cheap cheesecake on the dessert menu? Maybe free cheesecake? Yeah, sure, okay, whatever. Because they think you're going to flip over this card, so of course they're going to take the bet because they saw you passed their card. As soon as they take the bet, You, of course, flip over their card, and now they owe you a cheesecake or a round of drinks. Easy? Makes sense? Straightforward enough? All right, so obviously I knew what the card was because the camera's right there, right? So how do you find out what the card is without seeing what they picked? Well, that's what I'm going to get into now. That's why I mentioned at the beginning of this that it is called a key card trick. A key card trick, or the key card method in card magic, is anytime you know a specific card and you utilize that card as the key for the entire method. In this case, the card is whatever is on the bottom of the deck. Right now, it's the Queen of Spades, right? All you need to do is either while you're talking to them, playing with the cards, or maybe after they've selected a card, and while they're looking at the card and showing it to their friends, all you're going to do is at some point you're just going to take a peek at the bottom card. So that you know that the bottom card, in this case, is the Queen of Spades. So that later on when you tell them, all right, yeah, we're going to keep this simple, just put it on the top of the deck, all right? And all I'm going to do is take half the cards, put them right here. Would you complete the cut for me? The moment they complete the cut, the trick is over. There is now a 1 in 52 chance that every time you cut this deck, you're actually going to split those two cards. You can cut that deck, you can almost shuffle that deck in a very loose way, and those two cards will probably still be together. In fact, I've done it multiple times where I've had them, yeah, go ahead, shuffle the deck, all right? And then they'll shuffle the deck, and those two cards still stayed together. Now, I've told them typically, like, all right, there's a chance I royally screwed this up. But even better, right? Even better that the effect winds up being that I still got it right. And you can look, you can go ahead and look. The Queen of Spades, find the Queen of Spades, and the Queen of Spades should be right on top of the card they selected. I'll show it to you again. Right now, the Nine of Hearts is on bottom. Nine of Hearts is on bottom. They select a card. In this case, it is the 10 of Hearts. The 9 of Hearts is on bottom, right? All they do is they put the card on top. You cut the cards. You can cut the cards multiple times. Doesn't matter. And now watch. So, again, we're doing it this way, right? So as soon as I see the 10 of Hearts, the very next card will be theirs because the 10 of Hearts is on top of theirs. Here's the 10 of Hearts. Oh, sorry. The 10 of Hearts was the selected card. The 9 of Hearts was the one on bottom. As soon as you see the 9 of Hearts, the 10 of Hearts should be the very next card. All right, let's try to do it with cards that aren't that close, both hearts and a 9 and a 10, right? So right now we've got the 10 of Clubs on bottom. We'll say the Spectator's card is the Ace of Spades, okay? The Ace of Spades goes on top. When you cut the cards, the 10 of Clubs, is going to go right on top of that Ace. Again, you can cut this a few times. You can shuffle it up a little bit. And right now, I'm looking for that 10 of Clubs. While I'm even flipping through this, I could even tell the spectator, hey, would you be willing to bet something if I could find your card? They may or may not be willing to say yes at this point because they have no idea, right, of your capabilities. But the moment you see your 10 of Clubs, there's the 10 of Clubs, right? So the next card is the spectator's card. And then you keep going. The moment you pass their card, you kind of keep it visible and hidden a little bit so that it doesn't look like you know it's theirs. Don't make it obvious. You keep going, and then you say, hey, would you be willing to take that bet? Yeah? Okay. All right. Well, all right. The next card I flip over is going to be yours. All right? Yeah, that cheesecake on the dessert menu? Yeah? Sound good? Okay. And then you take that spectator's card, the Ace of Spades, flip it over. And now you just won your free dessert. Fair enough? Makes sense? Cool. So what do you think, guys? Pretty straightforward, pretty easy trick. I know it is an easy trick, so for those of you that are used to card magic, I apologize for this being a very, very simplistic trick. But I want to make sure that I start these tutorials right, and I do it for those that might be brand new to card magic. All right. That said, I also want to be careful what I show off because I do know that there are several tricks out there for purchase. So I want to be mindful of those that are trying to actually make a living off of street magic or close-up magic of other sorts. So, but This is literally one of my most favorite effects. I do this at almost every restaurant that I go on a business trip to. I do this at every single trade show that I go to for work. And more often than not, someone is buying me something. Because you set this up right at the beginning by saying, this is usually how I get a free drink, or this is usually how I get a free dessert, or whatever. And then by the end of it, whether they were impressed with you or not, they might already still be inclined to buy you something. But if it is like a server or a manager at a restaurant, and you preface it that way, and they say, we'll see, and then you intentionally pass their card, and then they're definitely going to take your bet, well, now you just got your free dessert. Pretty cool stuff. I do love this effect. If you guys like the effect and like the tutorial, like the video, please subscribe to Wulf and Skwirls for more tutorials like this and more stuff in the Magic community on Magic Mondays. As always, guys, stay squirrely. Catch you next time.